is an award-winning actress who has appeared in critically acclaimed films like Match Point and Hugo, as well as the hit TV series The Newsroom. Starting next week, you can see her on Doll and M, playing a Hollywood actress who might just regret hiring her best friend as her personal assistant. Take a look.
Emily.
This is your path.
Yeah. Do you need some sunblock on?
What?
If you need some sun cream.
I don't know.
Your chin's a bit pink. Should
Okay.
I put a little bit on?
Yeah, go on then, quickly. The thing is, I know that what you're saying about how it's meant to be.
It's a pat.
Oh.
Please welcome Emily Mortimer!
Welcome to our show.
I love being on your show already. So cozy.
Oh, Emily. Now, Emily, I want to talk about your dad.
Yes.
Okay, your late dad, John
Yes.
Mortimer. He was a very, very well-respected, well-known writer in the UK.
Yes, he was.
Okay. Now, did you ever get him to help you out with, like, essays and things at school?
Yes. And it didn't go very well.
Why?
Well, he used to... I adored him and he adored me, and so I could twist him around my little finger and pretty much get him to do anything I wanted. And I made him write all my creative stories, because that was what he was...
That was his job.
And there was an entire term at school where he wrote every single one, and I just watched telly while he did it. and then the report came back. The report came back at the end of term from my English teacher. Emily's essays are good, but Emily's stories are good, but they lack that vital spark of the imagination. And my dad was livid. He nearly rung up the school. I had to stop him from ringing up.
How dare you?
My essays are great. So, you've had consistent success in TV and movies, but I thought this was kind of funny that there was one talk show host a few years back that wasn't so familiar with your career. So tell us what happened.
It was Dennis Miller. Do you remember Dennis Miller? And he seemed like a really sweet guy, but he just... he introduced me as Emily Watson. He said, I sat down at the table opposite, and he said, welcome, Emily Watson. And the weirdest part of the story is that, not that he did that, because anyone could make that mistake, I guess, but I didn't correct him. I was too embarrassed to say, actually, I'm Emily Mortimer, and I went through the entire interview as Emily Watson. I don't think he knew who either Emily Watson or I was. But then they got to the end of it, and they said, you know, is there anything we need to re-edit or whatever? And one of the men said, yes, you've got her name wrong. She's actually Emily Mortimer. So he said, oh yeah, quite right, Emily Mortimer. So welcome, Emily Mortimer.
And that's why he doesn't have a show anymore. It's a joke!
That's right.
Now, we were talking before the show. Your handsome husband, Alessandro Nivola, is also a very successful actor, and people know him from lots of big movies, like Face Off, and he's in American Hustle right now. And you guys are both occasionally in, you know, your line of work called on to shoot love scenes. So between the two of you, who gets more jealous?
Me, by far. It's so annoying. I get really jealous. I have real double standards, though, because I think it's perfectly all right for me to go off and kiss a man in a movie that isn't him. But I hate it when he does it, and I go completely livid. But I'm much more jealous than him in every area. And so I do these, but he's learned now to lie. He just has to lie at all costs. And I set up these weird hypotheticals that are just so extreme, where I'll say something like, okay, so imagine you've been on a movie for sort of 2 or 3 months. I've been at home with the kids. Every time we've spoken on the phone, I've been horrible to you. I've been withering and mean and angry. And there's a much younger, very, very beautiful actress starring opposite you in the movie, and she's incredibly intelligent and kind. And you go out to dinner with the cast, and it's getting towards the end of the movie, and you're walking home together, and she turns to you and she says, you know, Alessandro, I just so admire you as an actor, and I just think you're the most incredible man. And I respect that you're married and you have children, but I just would love just one kiss, just one night, one kiss tonight, if that would be at all possible. And my question to my husband is not, would you kiss her, but would you be at all conflicted? And he knows he has to say, no, not ever.
Not even for a moment. I feel nothing.
What a ridiculous question.
Now, Emily, you are actually the co-creator of your new HBO miniseries, Doll and Em, where it takes a fictionalized look at your relationship with your real-life best friend,
Yes.
Dolly Wells. How did the show come about?
It came about 10 years ago when I full-time moved to America and she lived in England, and we just missed each other so much that we were racking up the most enormous telephone bills talking to each other, and we had to have an excuse for our husbands to justify these telephone bills. So we said we were writing a script, which we weren't doing. We were just gossiping, and we spent 10 years just gossiping, and then it got to the point where people were asking us about what we'd written, and we really hadn't written anything. And we then just had to sort of magic something out of the air, and we came up with this idea, and then we found that actually 10 years of gossiping on the telephone had stood for something. We sort of learned how to write in a weird way by just talking to each other so much because we missed each other. And anyway, and then we had this idea, which is what happens when you make your childhood best friend your personal assistant. And the answer is everything goes horribly wrong.
Well, it looks great. Emily Mortimer, everybody. Doll and Em premieres next Wednesday, March 19th at 10 p.m. on HBO. We'll be right back.